For her, every day can bring joy and challenges alike. Every day takes strength and guts and grace. But who's committed to keeping her healthy every day? We are. Because when we care for women, we care for our families and communities too.
Hello. Welcome everybody. My name is Sabrina Ho. I'm the CEO and founder of Half the Sky, a leading career platform for women. Thank you all so much for being here today, and we're so excited to be partnering with Organon for today's highly anticipated fireside chat that will help you explore what's possible for your career in healthcare. Today we'll be joined by Organon's leaders Anna Komorova, HR Lead, Organon's Asia Pacific, Asma Azim, Director of Regulatory Affairs, Organon's Asia Pacific, and Prachi Gar, External Affairs and Communications Lead, Organon's India. And some housekeeping rules. I hope you all are able to see the PowerPoint slide. Oh, perfect, it's here. So some housekeeping rules. This session is being recorded. And also, please make sure you remain muted and your camera is off throughout the entire session. So the spotlight will be on the speakers. Following the sessions, we'll have a 10 minutes Q&A. So please leave any questions related to today's topic for our speakers, and I'll read it out for you later on. And in introduction of Half the Sky, we are a leading career platform dedicated to connecting talented women with employers who believe in equal opportunity. At Half the Sky, we provide a vibrant women's career network, targeted skills training, and a growing range of career opportunities from companies that care, along with expert advice to support you in making that next big leap in your career. As passionate advocates for workplace diversity, our mission is to level the playing field for women and help companies build diverse, inclusive, and thriving teams. Ultimately, we want to inspire and empower more women to achieve their fullest career potential. So please explore more and join our communities at halftheskyasia.com. And as the founder of Half the Sky, I'm very proud. Okay, we can move to the next slide already. Thank you so much. Yes. And as the founder of Half the Sky, I'm very proud to be partnering with Organon for today's event. Organon is a global healthcare company with over 100-year legacy in advancing women's health. Today, they are independent, publicly traded company with a clear purpose to improve the complete health of women in every stage of our life. Their portfolio addressing areas that are unique to women. And with a presence in more than 140 countries, Organon works closely with patients, providers, and partners to deliver solutions where they are needed most. And importantly, they collaborate widely to drive research, expand education, and advance gender equality in healthcare. At Organon, they call themselves founders, a fearless team united by the belief that prioritizing women's health creates a healthier world for everyone. Together, we're creating a brighter future for her family, and for generations to come. And it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today as well. And firstly, we have Anna. Our first speaker is Anna Komorova, brings over 14 years of human resources experience, including more than a decade in the pharmaceutical industry. She has worked across recruitment, HR operations, employer branding, and as a trusted business partner to senior leadership. Anna played a pivotal role in leading the HR work stream during Organon's global spinoff in 2021, an enormous career milestone that came right after returning from maternity leave. And in 2023, she embraced another bold move, relocating from Russia to Singapore, take on HR leadership for 8 markets, later expanding to cover 10 markets across Asia Pacific. She has navigated these career transitions while raising 2 young sons, showing that leadership and life can grow together. Today, she's passionate about building inclusive workplaces and empowering teams across culture. Welcome, Anna. And our next speaker is Asma, is a seasoned regulatory professional and clinician with over 2 decades of experience spanning regulatory affairs and pharmacovigilance across Asia Pacific. She has built her career navigating complex regulatory landscape, leveraging her expertise in compliance, risk management, and strategic planning to successfully bring products to market and drive business growth. And in 2022, Asma's impact was recognized with the Women Leader in Healthcare Award. And she recently contributed to the 2024 book, Journey of Women Leaders Pushing Boundaries in Asia and Healthcare. And outside of work, she's a proud mother of 2 Gen Z children, enjoys swimming, running, and reading autobiographies, and is deeply committed to advancing gender parity and the proportionate representation of women of color in senior healthcare leadership. Welcome, Asma. And last but not the least, our final speaker, Prachika, brings over 2 decades of leadership in public health, policies, and health systems strengthening. And at Organon, she leads strategic initiative across 8 South Asian countries, ensuring women have access to essential healthcare solutions from contraception to menopause care. And her career includes advising the government of India, driving nationally recognized programs, and earning prestigious fellowship from Fulbright Humphrey and Chevening. Pashi's work has been celebrated globally for bridging the gap between policies and practice. And with such inspiring journeys and impactful leadership from our speakers, let's now take a look at the agenda for today's Fireside Chat and how we will explore these themes together. So again, thank you all for joining us today. We're looking forward to an engaging and insightful conversation with our panel of women leaders in healthcare. Our discussion is structured into 3 parts, and each designed to explore different facets of owning your career. Part 1 is about career journeys and transition, where we'll hear about what drew our speakers into healthcare and what has kept them passionate through the ups and downs. Part 2, what career ownership means to me, focusing on finding clarity, voice, and growth opportunities. And part 3, building a long-term career on your terms, is about balancing work, life, and identity for sustainable success. So also, audience, please stay tuned till the end as we have something very exciting to announce. So stay tuned. So let's start, panelists. Could you please share with the audience today what initially drew you into healthcare and what made you stay even when it got hard? Asma, would you like to go first?
Okay, thanks a lot, Sabrina, for a nice introduction. So for me, actually, being in healthcare was a kind of natural progression because both my parents are doctors. Also, if you see women, the proportion is relatively high in healthcare compared to other STEM fields. But I would say the 2 factors that really keep me motivating to date, one, I feel that women are still therapeutic orphans because we do identify gender gaps exist in the research all the way to the clinical development. Even if you look today, all the clinical decisions, different treatment options, healthcare delivery systems, they often overlook the importance of critical gender differences, the different hormonal impact at the different stages of females have their lives, and also the important genetic factors. So for me, I feel that this is not really about parity, right? It's about offering effective and precise healthcare treatment to everyone. So I feel that if there's anything that I can make a difference in this field. And the second important thing is the underrepresentation of women, especially women of color in the senior levels in the leadership organization.
Thank you so much, Asma. Prashi?
Thanks, Sabrina, and thank you for a very flattering introduction, honestly. So when I was studying my studying MPH at Emory University, I was taught by Bill Foege, the Nobel laureate who got award for eradicating smallpox from this world. So the first class he did for us, he said, if you want to do something important in life, focus on a problem which is important to the world. I think it's been over 1.5 decades, and what he said has stayed with me. I started my career as a health professional, mental health professional, and graduated towards policy and public health work. I worked on tuberculosis, malaria, HIV, reproductive health, a wide range of issues. And it was very heartwarming to see how you can make an impact on lives of people when you work on policy and on ground initiatives. I was very touched by what I was able to do in my day job. And if we look at, as Asma said, women are underrepresented not just in the leadership roles, but also how they receive healthcare in the um, in various parts of the world. And I think that makes me stick every time I see that we are able to make an impact on the lives of people. That motivates me further and makes me stay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pachi
Mhm.
and Asma. Yeah, and I think for me, when I first talked to Organon, I was extremely excited just because of what they do. You know, they purely focusing on women's health. Because we all know if we don't have the representation of women, not just in healthcare, pharmaceutical industry, any other industries, many times it can be a life or death situation. So I'm really glad that we all have you all, and Organons as well. And panelists, was there a pivotal moment that made you realize this was your purpose? Anna?
Hi, Sabrina. Thanks for your question about pivotal moment. My career story started as HR, and honestly, I've been always enjoying being in HR. I definitely think it's my calling, it's my path. But with that said, in a constantly changing world, of course, I kept asking myself, what is my purpose? Is it really the field where I want to be? Is there any pivot I need to make in the future? And the moment I realized that it is my purpose to be in HR and to continue serving people with helping them to unleash their potential, this is how I define my purpose, was when one of the talents with whom I had been working closely, she was senior leader in leadership team where I've been working as HR director. She became first local managing director in the country. So previously it was always expat foreigners, and she became the first one who was a local person, and also obviously she's a female, and I was really, really proud of her. I felt that I played a part in that journey because I was the one who always believed in her potential, no matter what, because she went through, of course, multiple challenges in her career, ups and downs. She had challenges with managing her team, and I was the one who helped her with the coaching, with the advice on people management matters, with giving her feedback on the ways how she can progress in her career, how she can develop her developmental areas, and how she also can use her strengths, because I do believe that our strengths are uh, very important to use to progress further in your career. So with all the part I played as a HR person, as her HR business partner, I really felt that I was also part of her success when she became managing director. And since then, I think I finally got a proof to myself and like additional point on straightening my vision into my purpose in my professional career, that I'm here in HR to support the talent development and to help other leaders to grow further.
Wow, thank you, Anna, for the powerful story. We all know that, mentor can help you a lot in your career, but truly advancing your career, and I think sponsor is really powerful as well. And Anna, you actually became the sponsor for, your colleague in her career journey that she became an MD. Thank you so much. And Asma, what's your take on this?
Thanks, Sabrina. So for me, unlikely, actually, it was a very unconventional path because I started in medicine and then, gradually find my way to the industry. It was a big change for me, and not by choice. So it was in the beginning a bit difficult to see that, whether I would be really able to serve people. That was the passion which I started when I had my medicine course. But interesting enough, when I was pregnant with my first kid, I had this very nasty viral rash. It took more than a month to recover. And I was really worried about the complications for, my kid, but at the same time, also extra cautious of the medicines I'm taking during that time, to relieve the symptoms. And that's where I realized that there are very, very few medicines available out there who include any information about women, especially when it talks about the safe use in pregnancy and breastfeeding. Recently, there was a study where they mentioned that more than 90% of the women are taking some form of medications when they are pregnant, and less than 4% of the medicines have some information on the safe use. Right. And other than that, I also began to realize that if you look at many of our serious diseases or chronic diseases, most often you will not find this information in the product labels or the safety information. And often we are told that go and see your doctor, and your doctor is going to do benefit risk and decide which drug works best with you. So that's where I started feeling that, okay, there is this field where I think I can make some difference. And I begin to realize that God have plans for me. So I landed up here. And till to date, I'm really passionate about how our work can help the women out there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Asma. I can't agree with you more. And during my pregnancies, I faced the same problem. There's just not many medicine out there that clearly label, oh, pregnancy woman, you can have this medicine, or even for kids. Is this medicine safe for kids? There's not a lot of labels, and this for business is a miss, opportunities. Because when there's a medicine that label for pregnant women or for kids, usually I see there's a 20% markup. So business leader, take note. And the next question, Pachi. Did you face skepticism or self-doubt during any career switch?
More than skepticism, Sabrina, I think I have been excited at my each career switch. As a young professional, I used to get bored very often in my job. And once I asked my mentor, I get bored very fast. What do I do? And he said, don't change the job. Learn to reinvent what you are doing and find something that interests you. And I think that advice worked for me quite well. And I switched, you could say I pivoted in my career while my core subject matter expertise remained same in last 20 years. I worked for a media house, a BBC. I worked in government as an advisor. I worked in management consulting, Ernst & Young, and now I am in pharmaceutical industry. Each career switch, I felt that while I had to learn a lot of new skills to succeed in my job, but at the same time, I was able to apply cross-sectoral knowledge to succeed in my job. And I think that has been a source of learning for me, and as well as I feel I'm able to give back what the job needs, bring a fresh perspective. So my learning is never be scared of a career switch, a pivot, say yes to new things which we have not done before. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
And
you.
Pachi, yeah, no problem. Pachi, any self-doubt during any of your career switch?
I think when I came to management consulting from government, that was a tough period because from spending money, I was in a role where I had to earn money. And a revenue-based role was emotionally very tough because from a position of power, you are actually in a more powerful space, but you feel the loss of power. So I think that was a point where I uh, I had to rearrange my own thought process, how I looked at uh, uh, how I placed myself in the world, and how I looked at applying what I learned to my job. That was a tough part. First 1 year was very tough, but I think then it all became easy, and I was able to then again link back. Yes.
Amazing, Pachi. We all become stronger after, any challenging situation. Thank you for sharing. Since we have you here, another question for you. Looking back, what would you tell your younger self about making bold career choices?
I would say bold choices help you live bold lives, Sabrina. I think uh, bold in itself is a word. I think we women don't learn naturally. When I started my career, I didn't know the difference between a career and having a job. So shaping my job, looking at it with a long-term perspective, having a goal, that's very important. And I think to my younger self, I would say, don't be scared of failures. Don't be scared of making bold choices, trying different things and asking for more. Seize as many opportunities as you can.
Amazing. Thank you, Prachi. And we are moving on to our part 2. And we have these questions for the panelists. Asma, you have worked across both clinical and regulatory roles. How did you learn to trust your instincts when making those shifts?
Thanks, Sabrina. So I think if you follow your instinct, I believe you are about 90% right. But I think it goes both ways, trusting the instinct where it's telling you to go and try out. And very often, at times we also have this instinct, do not try it out. Right. So I would say to listening to your instinct on both ways. If you feel that you have something in there telling you to really go for it, you must try it. But at the same time, listen and maybe try not to go something which make you really uncomfortable and really put you in a panic mode. We all have the inherent ability to know where we would like to go, right? But so we must be listening to these inner voices. But I think it's also very important that we analyze those voices very carefully. So anytime I have a change, and it could be something, let's say change in a career, you're planning a trip, there's something comes in your family situation. I think it's really important to ask ourselves, why do I need it? Right? Could it be helping me to improve professionally, personally? It could be, the new fitness goal. It could be something which aligns with my values. So I think why it's important, where would it get me? Right. Again, am I looking aspiring for a new role? Am I looking to be a more healthier or fit person in the near future? And then I think also very important to understand that what's at stake, right? What's my risk tolerance level? Also, and I think often for us, it's not only me, right? Or what is in it for my family, right? My loved ones, are they willing to come with me on this journey? Where they are, and what are the risk barriers for me? And I think lastly, very important to have the support system. Right, what do I need, right? In the work, do I need any allies or sponsors to help me with that? In a home, do I need any family members or a group of friends or maybe my professional network to get me there? So I think once we have addressed these processes, right? Why, where, when, what do I need? I think this will then boost up our instinct. And with that, I feel we're all set to go.
Yeah, thank you, Asma, for sharing the processes and steps. I think through all these steps that you have just shared, we can definitely, pull ourselves from the 90%. Instinct will tell you, yep, you should go for it, to 100%. Let's just say yes, accept the offer, accept the pay rise, accept anything that is on the plate that will advance you, to the next level. And
Right. And
Anna,
Sabrina, I would say acceptance is the
no, no,
next
no.
level. And I'm thinking sometimes you're even down, should I be even asking for it? Should I be go and say that, hey, I need it? So I think that's where as well, I feel that where your instincts tells you that you should ask for it, I think you should ask for it.
Yeah, thank you, Asma. And I think a lot of women, they struggle. I think it's more about the confidence. We know it's the right thing to do. We know we should do it, but we're not sure. I think it's that confidence level, yeah, by talking to your family, your support system, and many other processes you have mentioned really can help us build the confidence to say yes. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. And Anna, have there been moments where you help other women navigate uncertainty in their careers? And what did that teach you about leadership?
Yes, Sabrina, of course, there were moments when different women came to me for advice and for mentoring, as my profession also help me to help others. And I just want to start also my sharing with echoing Asma's statements about intuition, right? And listening your inner voice, because for me, it is essential part of helping others also to navigate their uncertainty in their careers or difficulties, right? Because I truly believe that people, and we all have all our answers inside ourselves. it's just a matter of asking the right questions, and you can ask yourself those questions and challenge yourself and just make this inner work to find answers, and then to be bold and to have courage to follow that inner voice. And it actually maybe sounds easy. In the real life, it can be extremely difficult to make those decisions from like, I know that I have this inner voice, towards making that decision and following this decision. It can be really, really long journey and a lot of confidence required on that journey. And in my story, I'll share one story when one of very talented ladies, she came to me a few times in her career, throughout her career. First time she came to me with ambiguity from switching from one company to another. And in her previous job, right, she was working for a great company, very successful company. She just got promotion. She got regional role with the multiple countries under her supervision, and she got great pay rise. So formally on paper, everything was perfect, but she was not happy in that company. And key thing was culture, organizational culture, which didn't speak to her. So she didn't feel that she belonged to. She didn't feel that values are shared, that her values really aligned with the company ones. She couldn't come along together with the leadership and vision of leadership. So she didn't really feel happy going to work every day. Even she was very successful there. And when she was raising to me all those concerns, and she was thinking about whether she needs to change a job and to take a risk, like to get to another company, to take another role, right? We all understand that like changing job can be very risky. And she even decided at the end of the story to take a job like with the same money, with less even scope at the first place. But she decided to make that bold move and to go to the company where organizational culture and values seem to her better fit. And in the end of the story, she became much, much happier person there. Second time she came to me when she had a challenge with a manager change, when she needed to really adjust to a new managerial style. And the third time she came to me when life gave her opportunity to move from one functional area, from HR business partnership, to learning and development, which is close, but actually very different areas. So she decided to take that challenge as well. So a couple of times she came to me in uncertain times, and what I did as a, let's say, mentor to her, as a leader, with whom she had the trustful relationships, I've been just there for her. I was listening her story, asking her questions, and I tried to do my best to help her to find answers inside herself. So that's why this case with this lady, it taught me that honestly leadership starts with care, because I really sincerely cared about her path, and for her to find the best possible way out of her challenges, right? It starts with listening, being accessible as well, because I moved out of Russia already for a while, and she still come to me, right? And I think being accessible, even if you live half of the world apart, it is important. Find time to have those conversations with people about whom you care and people who are seeking for your advice or your point of view. I think being warm and empathetic is also very important. Then people are drawn to you and they come for advice to you. And of course, as I said in the beginning, help them to find answers themselves, because only the person knows the best what is the best path for them. So that's my key advice for being a great leader and to help others to grow.
Wow, thank you so much, Anna, for all the gems. Since we have you here, I have another questions for you. Did internal mobility, mentorship, or culture of experimentation help?
Yes, for sure, for sure. Cultural, any kind of move, right? Internal mobility inside the company, it's a huge boost for your career up, like upgrade, let's say, right? Because you are learning so much more, moving country to country. And my personal path was that I moved from Russia, where I grew up. Of course, that culture was very obvious to me. And in terms of knowledge, I also built all my HR knowledge around one country, right? I could easily give advice in terms of labor law, any kind of problem. Employee come to me or manager come to me, I could easily give their advice in 5 minutes. I also have been working in pharmaceutical company for a while and in my company for a while, right? So it was so already easy. And when I moved to Singapore and started to be responsible for Southeast Asia, I came here and I knew no one, literally no one, even it was the same company, right? But all people suddenly became like all new. Then I also couldn't rely on my hard knowledge because I had no knowledge about labor law in any of 8 markets which I was responsible for. And that felt, of course, as a huge ambiguity and a big challenge. And the way how I navigated the challenge, it was to rely on my leadership skills and on my soft skills to rebuild this base of knowledge because it takes time, right? And also rebuild connections. Of course, in any work, connections are important because we all work in the teams, in the collaborations. But for HR job, it's even more important because all my work is around people. And of course, it takes time. And you realize how much actually leadership skills or your soft skills you have only when you are out of your comfort zone where you rely every day on your hard skills and your knowledge. So this move honestly helped me to upskill my leadership, but also, of course, to learn a lot about other cultures, about other markets, how business works in different countries. And of course, it was a huge, huge learning how to listen better. So as a person, naturally, I'm not the best listener. I much better in talking rather than listening. It's my natural inclination. But here in my new role, I honestly learned a lot how to just keep calm and listen because all my wonderful, talented direct reports, they knew much more about their markets rather than I did in terms of hard knowledge, right? So that's why listening, asking right questions, but still bring value through those questions. That's what I've learned through my move from Russia to Asia.
Thank you so much, Anna. Asma, what's your take on this question?
Thanks, Sabrina. So yeah, I think definitely, all the 3 points you highlighted play a really big role. In fact, I feel that switching within the organization make it slightly less steeper curve, right? Because I have experience in my previous organization, and I felt that okay, you are exploring entirely new area, but at least you knew a few people, you knew the products, you knew the processes. So it was not also new for me. But I think one factor I really wanted to highlight is the importance of the mentorship. I really feel that I think mentorship is one of the very powerful tools which help the organization to grow, to thrive, create a culture of curiosity. I've been very, very fortunate throughout my career. I met amazing mentors, both males, females, mostly my managers. And I felt that even small gestures, pulling you out into some of the important project meeting, offering you a gig, or even offering you a learning opportunity, right? It goes a long way in helping people to identify what their true potential is. So that's why I feel that I think mentorship is something really important, where we encourage the colleagues to explore new ideas, take thoughtful risks, reflect on themselves, where they want to go, and then make cautious decisions. Another thing also, I would say that do not undermine the importance of the reverse mentorship. I had many, many colleagues in my current team. Many of the names I recognize in the participants. Quite a few of them, my ex-colleagues, which are now really friends. Time to time, I reach out to them for personal advice, professional advice, and I felt that just by sharing the experiences, just by learning different perspectives from them. It also helped me to grow, to adapt, to make more informed decisions. So I think mentorship is a very, very powerful tool. I think we just need to know how to make good use of it. And I also feel that if you don't come across good mentors, try to look around. And I think there's no harm in, because I did walk out a few times to people and say, I want you to be my mentor. And they're like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I really want to hear from you, how there are certain things which I want to work on. So if you identify a few people who you think that they have certain strengths, or there's certain areas which you would like to grow, I think there's no harm just walking out. And at the same time, if you know your strengths, yeah, go out to your friends and offer support.
Yeah, thank you, Asma, for showing us the importance of ask. And Prachi, can you give us an example of how Organon supported you in pivoting or growing your career?
Thanks, Sabrina. I have very fond memories of being in Organon, and I'm still here, so making more memories. So when I came to Organon, I was relatively new to pharmaceutical sector. And if you look at the external affairs portfolio in Organon, it is honestly very wide. We have market access, we have policy, we have public affairs, we have pricing, and most of us in our peers, we are possibly good at one or two things, but since all of them appeal to totally different sides of us, it's very hard to be good at everything. And I think Organon culture has not just mentored me into pharmaceutical sector, but also allowed me to gain expertise in each of the four verticals. Uh, One of the things I think which is very important here is the flat organization structure. We were an organization founded during COVID times, and for a long time we were working in an online mode with each other, which was, I think, a blessing in disguise. We enjoy extremely good relationships with our local, regional, uh, and global colleagues without feeling the boundary of not being in a same physical space. And I think which has triggered a lot of cross learning, lot of co-creation of ideas. Uh, I think Organon has been a unique organization. When I get an idea, I ring up my global colleagues, regional colleagues, discuss the idea, and uh, make it happen. I would also like to talk about mentorship, as Asma mentioned it. I have two very interesting examples. In my 2022 feedback from my supervisor, the first feedback he gave me was about expressing my ideas. He said, "You are very reserved in expressing your ideas. You only express it when you know it is 100% there. Why don't you uh, talk your mind even when you think it's only 50% there, or you have a half-baked idea and possibly we can bake it together." And I think I worked on that feedback very seriously, and we did launch some very interesting projects in India, which were very pivotal to our growth locally here. Then in 2023, he gave me a feedback that I'm a very conflict averse person. He said, "You avoid any conflict, even a small potential of conflict to avoid." And 2023 for me was the year when he made me learn getting into healthy conflicts. And I think that was a tough part, but I kind of learned it. And I take my annual feedbacks very seriously with him. And I think these when you live Organon values, they're very well thought through values, and they shape the professional out of you. And now when I sometimes meet my government affairs peers from other companies as well, and I realize that uh, these this culture and how we operate in Organon has allowed us to shape our own brand of government affairs here. It's not a prescribed market access strategy. We are doing what is relevant for us, and I think this learning will stay with me for a very long time.
Thank you, Prachi. And audience, we're moving to our final part of Fireside Chat of today. And this question is also for Prachi as well. How have you learned to design a career that works for your life, not the other way around?
Yep, I mean, I think the COVID memories are very fresh. And last 4 years in Organon, I have seen medical emergencies. I had a life-threatening episode of COVID. I was literally out of sorts for more than a month. I took a sabbatical to go and study public policy at Oxford University. Uh, my mom has been hospitalized twice. So it's been tough 4 years, and I have to give it to Organon culture that I felt supported. Flexible working hours, focusing on outcomes rather than processes. Uh, I think all that has been a recipe for success for me. I would say that Organon, I've been able to shape the ideal life for myself, and that has made me stay in the company. That has also been a source of uh, what do you say, mutual respect for our colleagues, uh, emotional attachment with what you do. And I would also want to add one more point. I think Organon's focus on women's health in itself brings tremendous purpose to every day what we do. And I think when you marry purpose with the quality of life, it all makes sense.
Amazing. Thank you, Prachi. And Anna, have you ever had to renegotiate your career identity during motherhood, caregiving, or burnout?
Yeah, that happened to me as well because I have two small children, two boys, and they are 6 years old and 3 years old. It's been just recently when I became a mom. I still remember that really well. And my crisis, and I think, and like change in my identity happened with me becoming a mother 6 years ago, when my oldest son Nikita was born. And the key thing, what happened, I've spent on maternity leave quite some time. In Russia, the maternity leave can be quite long. I've been with him for 1 year and 3 months, sitting home and just taking care of him. And then I got the offer inside my company, right, to become HR director for a spin-off company, Organon. And I was always very ambitious and I wanted that job a lot. So I decided to say yes, of course, for that opportunity. And after I came back after maternity leave, I didn't just return back to work, right? I returned back to completely new job responsibilities with the task which I've never done before. It was very creative time because it was spin-off, right? I was responsible as HR for setting all organizational structure, like hiring half of the people, new people for the organization in Russia, and a lot of other different challenging tasks. I loved it a lot, but I worked also much more hours rather than I should, like in accordance with my contract, right? So I was working really, really hard. And honestly, I feel like uh, I didn't spend enough time with my son, and I really don't remember his second life of his life. It was just all like work, 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 laptop, and just quick weekends with him. So after spin-off was finished, it took us like approximately 1 year was like that in my career. I like it was like a wake-up call when like company decided to go through different directions, and it was a very challenging time that time in Russia. And then when it was all finished, I realized how much time I lost, honestly, and I didn't spend with my child. And it took me some time to find that balance between work and life, how I can put more healthy boundaries in terms of work time, priorities, but it helped me tremendously to grow as a professional further, because when you have one market and your responsibilities, it's one story. When you have 8, it's another story. When you have 10, it's even different story. But honestly, we still have only 24 hours in a day. And the way to learn is just to prioritize better, to make very clear priorities and to know what are your values, what are your priorities in life and at work, and then just stick to that.
Thank you so much, Anna. And Asma, what mindset shift helped you release the pressure to do it all?
Okay, so first of all, I think, Sabrina, there's no magic bullet, right, to get it all right. And then there are different things we entice all of us, maybe different relievers, different stresses. But I think for me, I would say three things are very important. First of all, I would say have something new. It could be, new TED Talk, new speaker, new LinkedIn post, new fitness program, anything that excites you to do something. If it's outside your comfort zone, even better, because you are building new connections in your brain. I very recently identified that I'm really losing my reading focus. I start reading something and I switch on to something else. So I just bought this book on AI, how humans handle AI in the modern age. And trust me, I'm struggling every day to get few pages being finished. It's not easy to discipline yourself. So I would say that I think something new really helps. The second important thing I would say is to set clear expectations of ourselves. As much as we want to be superwoman, right? Like Anna said, we only have 24 hours a day, right? So we can't, it's very difficult to be a driven, challenging career woman and be a perfect wife and be a super mom and, be a filial daughter. So I think we should tell ourselves where are the trade-offs and should not feel guilty if we can't excel in some of the areas, right? So if we are setting these expectations right, hopefully we can prevent some of the burning out. So don't feel guilty once in a while if we are doing something for ourselves. And the last thing I would again say, I think it's very important to have a good support system, invest in connections, right? Internally, family, friends, social connections, but I think also externally. We spend so much of our time at work, then I feel some of my team members just like a family. It's just the people you go out and talk to and connect to, sometimes professional advisors, even personal advisors. So I think it's really important to have that network to support you. And I think these are the few things I feel really help me to keep going.
Thank you so much, Asma. And audience, we run out of time a little bit. So last question will be 5 questions for the speakers. So panelists, what is one key takeaway or piece of advice you would like to leave with the women in the audience today? Anna?
I think my piece of advice would be to follow your inner voice. You know the best what's your path and what's right for you, and make sure you really listen to that voice and find the courage, find people around you, find support system which support you and encourage you to do what's right for you. Those people are very important. Sometimes we doubt our inner voice. That's why I just encourage everyone, don't doubt, follow your inner voice and your path.
Thank you. Asma?
Yeah, I think I would say some of us would be very fortunate, if somebody comes to us and offer a role, offer a job, or tells us that, hey, you are the right fit or you are the qualified person for this job, right? Often we hear you are not qualified enough, you are not good enough. So I would say that I think we only grow when we trust ourselves and do things for which we are told probably that we are not qualified enough. So I would say to all the amazing people out there, trust yourself, tell yourself that you are qualified and you are good enough to take it on.
Thank you. Prachi?
So I would say 2 things, Sabrina. Number 1, only 4% of women of color in healthcare sector are in leadership roles. So we must push for more because 70% of healthcare sector is made up of women, but only 4% women are in leadership roles. That's number 1. Number 2 is learn something every day. And there's no ideal life, no ideal job. Choose what makes you happy. Be driven by your values. Your values will take you there.
Thank you so much, Prachi. Thank you. And thank you to all of our expert speakers for sharing such valuable insights and advice today. And now let's move into our Q&A sessions. We have a lot of questions coming in. So let's go into question number 1 from our audience, Amy. So Amy would like to have some advice. She shared that she feels she can't leverage her strength in her current job, and she cannot transfer to another position without delivering result in her current role. And also opportunities outside of her company are also limited as well. So she's feeling very conflicted. Speakers, any advice for her?
I think I can try, but I really appreciate Prachasma. Please join me if you have additional thoughts. Even when I'm listening the question, I can tell that the person is confused with listening, as I said, inner voice, right? When your inner voice giving you an answer, everything is clear, right? But when there is a confusion inside, my advice, keep asking yourself deeper questions. Like, for example, there is a very simple technique, 5 whys. 5 whys. So what you literally are doing, you say, start first with trying to answer the question, what do I enjoy doing? What I really want to do, where my strengths are. And then keep asking yourself why, right? Let's say I will say, I like listening to other people and giving them advice. And then I'm asking myself, why do I like it? Then I have an answer. For example, because I like actually feeling that I'm helping them. Why do I like helping others? Because it makes me feel important. Why do I like to feel myself important? And so on, right? So like you have your inner conversation with yourself. It should bring you to the point of what your real value is. Where are your values? What you are really trying to get out of their job? And then try to connect those deeper values, those deeper answers with your reality. And then it gives you more answers. It either will give you clear answer, I should stay at my current job because my deeper values connected to this job, and I can still apply those values just in a different way. You may do some gigs, some new projects, you can find another colleague to help with because you will apply your deeper values in your job different way. Let's say that can be outcome. Or it can be another outcome. You will just clearly see that the job you do right now or employer where you are working for right now, it's definitely not for you. And then with those clear answers, you can go and find another job, another place, another opportunity, which speaks to your inner values.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Oh, Prachi, anything?
No, I just adding to what Anna said. I think sometimes when we are feeling stuck like Amy, I think we must tell ourselves it's okay to fail. The sky is not falling, and look for collaboration. I think it's easier to find answers together than finding it alone.
Thank you, Pachi. And we have another question. We have actually many questions, and our question from the audience, Whelan. So women experience many hormonal changes throughout life, such as during our monthly menstrual cycle, pregnancy, or menopause. These changes can sometimes impact our ability to pursue certain goals or activities. Panelists, have you ever experienced a time where you wanted to do more but felt limited by these changes? And how did you navigate that situation?
Okay, maybe I can start, Sabrina, and please feel free to. So I think one important thing is that we have been probably disregarding these things for a very, very long time, right? Where people are not really talking about that I am going through this certain phase, or it was a kind of period of embarrassment. How can I tell people I'm having my periods, or how can I say to someone, hey, I'm going through menopause and I'm having certain symptoms? So I think it's gradually getting better. And I would also say here, I think Organon in terms of, appreciating, recognizing those symptoms, appreciating that this is something really important, that this should be taught about, there should be something talked about, that there should be some processes in place to address some of these concerns. And the second thing, I think, again, I would say also to some extent, I think let's be a little bit truthful to ourselves as well, right? I think sometimes we are kind of in a denial that I have to, now it's okay, I just keep pushing myself, keep going on. So I think it's also important to not to overestimate ourselves, understand that, there are a few changes our body is going through. Let's get it to be prepared. And I think I can openly share with the team here that, you're trying to different phases, and at certain stage you feel, hey, now you can't exercise to the level where you used to, or even if you are trying to control, you might not get your target weight because there are other changes in the bodies which are kicking in. So I think it's really important to acknowledge, really understand, and then I think try to work out the solutions. Maybe we could think about having some alternative options and try to see if we can seek solutions outside.
Sounds great. Any other takers for this question? Awesome. And I think we can squeeze one more questions for the speakers. And this question is from Charlie. She's asking because she's been asking, herself a few times. So she really would love to have a wider views on how to plan her career strategies in volatile markets after being hit with retrenchment and now always having the fear of it happening again.
Probably I'll take the question, right? As the HR who is sometimes responsible for executing also those difficult decisions. And also I'm psychologist by education. That's why I know a bit about how to deal with fears. Honestly, guys, the only way how you deal with the fear, you embrace it, you accept it. So, and I think you probably have heard that if you are frightened of something, you should exactly go and do that. But I'm not actually giving advice, just push yourself into a very uncomfortable space, but in a way you got the idea. So unless you accept that redundancy may happen to you any single moment, there is no guarantee in the world that it will not happen to you. It can happen to any of us, to me tomorrow, to you the day after tomorrow, right? The world is very uncertain, and the change and the speed of the changes right now are just insane. With that said, uncertainty and redundancy, it's not really the worst thing in the world. Just try to ask yourself what can be a good things there. And just a bit of a positive side. I've seen so many cases, guys, because unfortunately I've been a part of redundancies many times, but I also follow those people life paths after, for example, they've been redundant, right? I saw so many times how redundancies helped people to find better opportunities, how that gave them a space and time to think about their real purpose, and they changed completely their path in life, and they are much more happier than they used to be before. I've seen so many times how people struggle to accept that decision in the beginning, but in the end, it was one of the best decisions in their lives to accept and move on. So that's why, honestly, when one door closes, another door always opens. That's why I don't think about redundancy only in a bad way. It's just a change, and change is inevitable. And sometimes you don't know that maybe it's even a better path out there rather than where you are. Ask yourself, why do you stick so much to the current, let's say, employer or current workplace or current thing? What exactly is inside that, feeling of uncertainty inside you?
Thank you so much, Anna. And unfortunately, audience, that's all the time we have for the Q&A today. And we hope we were able to address your questions and provide helpful clarity. Thank you all for your participation. And before you go, don't forget the diversity employers on Half the Sky platform are hiring, and they're committed to empower women to thrive within their organization. They provide flexible working arrangement, equal pay initiative, return to work policies, leadership development program, paid parental leave, and many more. Their jobs are listed on our platform. Please check them out. And we also have a lot of resources to share with you on our platform as well. Please sign up. It's completely free. And please give us a follow and also give Organon a follow with all the QR code here as well. And once again, thank you everyone, and special thanks to Organon as well as our lovely speakers, Anna, Asma, and Prachi. And audience, as I mentioned at the beginning, there's something exciting that I want to announce. We will be sending you a quick event survey right after this session. So everyone who completes the survey will have a chance to win a one-on-one career coaching session with Organon's talent acquisition team. We'll be selecting one lucky participant from the survey responses. We'll love to hear your feedback, and good luck. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Thanks, Sabrina. Thanks,
Thank
Have This
you.
Time. And thanks, audience, for joining us today.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.